Sometimes a name comes along that checks every single box a real contender could possibly want. Genuinely young, genuinely two-way, genuinely cost-controlled, and it still somehow ends up sitting right there on the open trade market anyway. Tonight on the show, I have to tell you about exactly that kind of situation because Trey Murphy III's name has genuinely truly become one of the most talked about trade candidates in all of basketball right now, and one team that has been directly connected to him according to real reporting is the Los Angeles Lakers. So stay with me, Lakers fans, because adding this kind of genuinely ready-made two-way wing right next to Luka Doncic is exactly the kind of move that completes a real, legitimate championship roster. Here's exactly what's being reported right now, cutting right through all the noise. According to sources, the Los Angeles Lakers have been specifically named among the teams genuinely monitoring Trey Murphy's trade market, with insiders noting that while the Lakers may struggle to fully meet New Orleans' asking price, given their own recent draft capital spending, the front office reportedly remains genuinely actively interested. New Orleans' price has reportedly softened from the equivalent of 4 first-round picks down to closer to 3, a shift that could bring the Lakers back into the real conversation. Trey Murphy III, in the purple and gold, lined up right next to Luka Doncic. Read that line again, slowly, because if you truly understand just how rare a young two-way wing like this really is on the open market, and you understand exactly what Luka Doncic genuinely needs around him, you understand precisely why this could be one of the most significant moves of the entire offseason. And I am here to walk you through, step by step, exactly why a player this good might genuinely be available right now, because it's a genuinely fascinating situation developing in real time before our eyes. Now, I already know exactly what some of you are going to bring up right away, the draft capital cost after the Lakers' other recent moves this summer, and we are going to get to every single bit of it, I promise, because I always give you the honest version. But stay with me through this one, because pairing a young, genuinely two-way wing like Trey Murphy with Luka Doncic in his prime is exactly the kind of move that builds a real, legitimate championship core. Let me start with why Trey Murphy is even in this conversation, because it's a genuinely fascinating situation. The New Orleans Pelicans finished this past season with a genuinely brutal 26-56 record, one of the very worst marks anywhere in the entire league, and a roster full of expensive, talented pieces that simply hasn't translated into any real winning. Reporting indicates the Pelicans have fielded real, legitimate trade interest in Murphy from a growing list of teams around the league, and while New Orleans initially set an extremely high asking price, the equivalent of a full 4 first-round picks, that price has reportedly softened to closer to 3 first-rounders as the summer has gone along. Multiple credible, well-connected reporters have described Murphy as one of the single most coveted trade candidates anywhere in the entire league right now, with teams genuinely lining up to inquire about his availability. That right there is the crack in the door, and it is genuinely actively open. And let me underline just how real this new era of player movement is, because it's the whole foundation here. Think about what we have already witnessed in this offseason alone. A 2-time MVP was traded in one of the biggest blockbusters in recent NBA history. An all-star wing was dealt in a separate franchise-altering trade of his own. A former Finals MVP was moved in yet another blockbuster. Across the league, the players everyone assumed were untouchable have changed teams one after another. The old certainties are simply dead. And in Trey Murphy's specific case, you have a rebuilding franchise with a softening asking price, a genuinely desperate need to reset the roster, and a growing list of contenders calling to check in. The door is open, the market is real, and the only question is which team ends up meeting that price. So now let me tell you exactly who Trey Murphy III is, in case anyone needs the reminder, because this is the part that should get you right up and out of your seat. Trey Murphy III is one of the most complete, genuinely ascending two-way wings anywhere in the entire NBA. He just led the New Orleans Pelicans in scoring, averaging 21.5 points a game to go with 5.7 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.5 steals, all while shooting an efficient 47% from the field and just under 38% from 3. He's a genuinely true 3-and-D wing who can defend multiple positions on any given night, space the floor at a truly elite level, and has developed real legitimate shot creation on top of all of that. He's still only 25 years old, which means he's entering the absolute prime years of his career, and he's on a genuinely team-friendly contract relative to his production. 4 years and $112 million total, a number that looks like an absolute bargain given exactly how he's been playing right now. Acquiring a player like this isn't just adding a piece, it's adding one of the most coveted, ready-made two-way wings on the entire trade market. And let me put his resume in proper context because it tells you why this is such a fascinating story. A team's leading scorer at just 25 years old, an elite three-point shooter who can also create his own shot, a legitimate multi-positional defender. Players with this exact combination, real youth, genuine two-way skill, and team-friendly money all at once, are the single most sought-after assets anywhere in the entire league, exactly the kind of player nearly every single contender would love to add if given the real chance. That's precisely why his name has become one of the most talked about trade candidates of the entire offseason, with reporting indicating a genuine wave of interest from around the league. So now let's talk about why this fits Luka Doncic so perfectly, because this is the heart of it. But first, let me make sure you really truly appreciate how rare a player like this actually is, because it's the whole entire point of the story. In today's NBA, the hardest thing in the world to find is a young two-way wing who can shoot at an elite level, defend multiple positions, and still create his own offense when the play breaks down, all on a contract that isn't going to strangle your cap sheet for years to come. Most wings anywhere in the league with this level of production are either already extension eligible for genuine max money or still on their rookie deal without a fully proven track record yet. Trey Murphy has both the proven production and the team-friendly money at just 25 years old. Think about how genuinely few players in the entire league combine that exact specific mix of age, two-way skill, and real contract value all at once. That's precisely why so many different teams, spanning both conferences of the entire league, have already been genuinely connected to him this offseason. Here's the thing about building around Luka Doncic. He is one of the greatest offensive engines the entire game has ever seen, but even a generational talent like that needs genuine two-way pieces around him, players who can space the floor when he's creating and defend the perimeter when the ball isn't in his hands. Trey Murphy III is exactly that kind of player, a genuine 3-and-D wing who doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective but can also create his own shot when a possession completely breaks down. Just imagine for a second Luka drawing the entire defense's attention while Murphy spots up in the corner for a wide open three or attacks a scrambling closeout defender who's forced to help off him. Just imagine a Lakers defense that finally has a young, genuinely switchable wing who can hold up against the other team's best perimeter scorer deep into a real playoff series. That exact combination, a truly generational offensive engine paired with a genuine proven two-way complement, is exactly the kind of pairing that turns a good roster into a real, legitimate championship contender. So now let's talk about how this would actually work in practice, because the price is the key. New Orleans' asking price has reportedly softened to somewhere around 3 first-round picks, down from an original 4, and reporting has specifically noted the Lakers could genuinely struggle to meet that price given their recent draft capital spending on other moves earlier this summer. That's a real, genuinely honest obstacle to work around. But the Lakers have always been a franchise more than willing to make the bold, blockbuster move when a player of this caliber is genuinely on the table, and pairing a young two-way wing with Luka Doncic in his prime is exactly the kind of swing this franchise exists to make. And let me put the stakes in proper context, because it matters here. Luka Doncic is one of the greatest offensive talents this league has ever seen, but a generational engine like that only reaches its true ceiling with the right two-way infrastructure around it. Murphy is not a hypothetical fit. He's a proven, verified 3-and-D wing who has already shown he can shoot at volume and defend multiple positions on a real NBA roster. That's not speculation, that's a well-documented, specific skill set that plugs directly into exactly what a team built around a ball-dominant offensive genius actually needs. But I told you I'd be honest with you, so let's take the doubts head on, because on this one, they are real. The first objection is the cost, since reporting has specifically flagged the Lakers as a team that may genuinely struggle to meet New Orleans' asking price after their other recent moves earlier this summer. That's a fair, genuinely real concern to have. But for a generational talent like Luka Doncic in the absolute prime of his career, you have to be willing to push your chips into the middle of the table to build a real championship core. And a young two-way wing on a team-friendly deal is exactly the kind of player worth pushing in for. The second objection is the fit, since the Lakers already have real depth on the wing. Fair. But there's a difference between having depth and having a genuine two-way starter who can defend the other team's best perimeter player while also spacing the floor at an elite level, and Murphy is exactly that upgrade. The third objection is whether New Orleans would even prioritize a deal with the Lakers over other suitors like the Celtics or Warriors who have been more directly connected. Fair question. But the Lakers have shown time and again that they can move quickly and creatively when they truly want a specific player. Let me also address the timing question directly, because it actually works in the Lakers' favor here. Unlike a lot of trade candidates who only become genuinely available right before a hard deadline, forcing a rushed decision, Trey Murphy's situation has been building for months now, giving real suitors actual time to construct the right package instead of scrambling at the last minute. That's exactly the kind of drawn-out negotiation where a persistent, motivated front office can eventually find a structure that works for both sides, even if the price looks steep from the outside looking in. And with New Orleans' asking price having already softened once this offseason, there's real reason to believe it could soften further the longer this drags on without a resolution. So let me tell you where my head is at, and then I've got one final thought that I think is the real key to all of this. If the Lakers pull this off, they give Luka Doncic a genuine two-way wing who can space the floor, defend the perimeter, and grow with him for years. And they do it by pouncing on a rare opportunity while New Orleans' asking price is still softening. Just picture it for a second. Luka Doncic running the entire offense, Trey Murphy spacing the floor and locking down the other team's best perimeter wing, a Lakers team that suddenly looks genuinely complete on both ends of the floor. Whether it actually works comes down to the real cost involved, and that's the honest, real debate here. But the fit with Luka is fascinating. The ceiling is a genuine championship, and the Lakers have never been shy about chasing exactly this kind of bold, star-building swing. Let me also address the depth question directly right now, because it's honestly the one people bring up first whenever discussing the Lakers' current wing rotation. Having bodies stacked at a position is simply not the same thing as having a genuine two-way starter who can defend the opposing team's number one option and space the floor at a truly elite level on the other end of the court. Most rotational wings around the league truly do neither one of those things at a genuinely high level. Trey Murphy III does both at just 25 years old, which is exactly why teams spanning both conferences are lining up for him rather than settling for what's already available on their own current roster. And here's the thought I want to leave you with, the part almost nobody is connecting. A young, genuinely two-way wing this good on a contract this team-friendly. Becoming a real, genuine trade candidate is one of the single rarest opportunities in all of basketball. New Orleans' asking price has already been softening by the week, and the Lakers, with a superstar in Luka Doncic who needs exactly this kind of two-way complement, are exactly the kind of team that should be exploring every single possible avenue. So let me boil it all the way down for you because I want this crystal clear. A generational offensive engine in Luka Doncic who needs a genuine two-way wing he can grow with for years. A young, cost-controlled star in Trey Murphy, still only 25, sitting on a rebuilding Pelicans team with a softening asking price. The honest obstacle is the cost in draft capital, especially after the Lakers' other recent moves. But the fit with Luka is fascinating, the long-term ceiling is enormous, and the Lakers, of all franchises, exist to make exactly this kind of bold, star-pairing swing. So let me boil it all the way down for you one more time, because I want this crystal clear. A generational offensive engine in Luka Doncic who needs a genuine, proven two-way wing he can grow with for years. A young, cost-controlled star in Trey Murphy III, still only 25 years old, sitting on a rebuilding Pelicans team with a softening asking price and a growing list of suitors. The honest obstacle is the cost in draft capital, especially given the Lakers' other recent moves this summer. But the fit with Luka is genuinely fascinating, the long-term ceiling is enormous, and the Lakers, of all franchises, exist to make exactly this kind of bold, star-pairing swing. I'm not telling you it's signed. I have no reporting that says the ink is dry, and I am never going to make something up for you, because the only reason you keep coming back to me is that I shoot you straight, even when the honest version includes real concerns about whether the Lakers can actually meet New Orleans' price after their other moves this summer. Those concerns are real. But I am telling you, the talent is genuine, the fit with Luka is fascinating, and a young two-way wing this good on this team-friendly a contract is one of the rarest assets there is. You stack all of that up, the fit and the long-term ceiling, and the fact that the Lakers have already been directly, genuinely connected to this exact situation, and you can genuinely feel it, can't you? This one would just genuinely make sense.